Patrick Mahomes has gone to 3 Super Bowls in the 5 seasons he's been a starter. Some argue, though, it could easily have been more. Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk makes the case Mahomes could have made each of the last 6 Super Bowls had there not been a critical offsides call, a bad play call, and if Mahomes had started his rookie year. That is a pretty big assertion. Yeah. Shannon, do you agree?
I don't know about 6, Skip, but I'm willing to say had that offsides pick, and if they had gotten the ball first in overtime, Tom made sure they didn't go his first year of starting, even though he was the MVP, because Tom got the ball and they methodically went down the field and they got a touchdown.
I don't know if it's methodically.
Well, yeah, they did, Skip, because
3 straight 3rd and 10s.
Skip, it wasn't a big play. Methodically mean they picked up 3rd down after 3rd down after 3rd down.
I think of methodically like 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards.
So how do you get the 3rd down if you're not getting 5 yards, 5 yards?
Who converts 3 straight 3rd and 10s?
Skip.
Have you ever seen that?
Yes, I've seen it before.
I haven't.
So you just saw Jalen Hurts do it time after time after time after time.
I didn't see 3 straight 3rd and 10s on the same possession.
Skip. Okay, maybe not 3rd and 10, but you saw him pick up a 3rd and 14.
No,
you saw him pick up a 3rd and 5, a 3rd and 8, a 3rd and 14.
He's a wizard.
Yes.
He's a wizard. Go ahead.
But my thing was, Skip, is that you saw them and they made sure that he didn't get the ball. So that was, I believe, had they gotten the ball first, that would have been his first.
I'll give you that.
Last year, then they jump out to a 21-3 lead, and Cincinnati cut it to 21-10.
Yep.
They could have easily gone.
They could have gone.
I would go 5 out of 6. I'm not going to say I don't believe had he started his rookie year, Skip, that's an awful lot of pressure. But you have to think, well, hell, Brock Purdy got to the NFC Championship game, I would like to think Patrick Mahomes is a little bit more talented than him, but I think the 49ers defense is a little better than what the Kansas City defense was in Patrick Mahomes' rookie season. So I would go as far as saying 5 out of 6. I'm not going to go 6 for 6, but 5 out of 6 makes a very compelling argument. And yesterday, Skip, he's like, the window, and you heard Joe Burrow say, my window is always open. And, how far can this thing go, Skip? This is what I know. I don't know. I don't believe Patrick Mahomes has stepped 1 foot into his prime. Let that sink in for a second. He hasn't even got to his prime yet. He hadn't set a foot in his prime. So here's a chance over the next 6 years. Let's just say, you mentioned it earlier, that Andy coaches till he's 70, which is another 6 years.
Yep.
Is it far-fetched to think they could be in another 3 Super Bowls?
No, it's not far-fetched.
So with that being said, Skip, and what he's done, you got to realize that Brady and Manning didn't win their first regular season MVP until they were in their 30s. Patrick Mahomes has 2, and he's only 27.
Okay. But obviously Brady didn't fall into a throwing offense to start his career with. It didn't really turn into throwing offense until they somehow stole Randy Moss away from the Oakland Raiders.
Yes.
And all of a sudden 2007 happened. But he'd been playing for, 6 years already? Mm-hmm. Okay. I will give Mike Florio and give you that if Patrick had started his rookie year, I would have given him a shot because they have owned your old division.
Right.
They just own it. He's 27-3 against the West.
He's undefeated on the road.
Okay. He's never played. The flip of that is he's never had to play a single road playoff game. Obviously neutral sites for the Super Bowls, but no rate. It's impossible.
Right.
You've had 5 straight home AFC Championship games.
Right.
It's impossibly great. Well, obviously, if you're at home and you are Patrick Mahomes and you do have Andy Reid overseeing and game planning and play calling, you got real shots. So I'm going to give you the 5. It could have been 5. It might have been 6. I'll even give you that. I don't know. It's hard to your point, but with his talent, his gifts, and that offensive mind.
Well, Skip, the reason why I say that was because of the defense, because it was their defense that let them down in the the AFC Championship game. That Brady got the ball, he went down the field and got the lead. Mahomes had to get a field goal, and then when he got to overtime, he went right back down the field, and they made some switches. They ended up bringing in Frank Clark, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl.
Will we ever see Patrick Mahomes be faced with a road playoff game?
I'm sure.
At some point?
I'm sure it will be.
We just talked about potentially Rex Ryan be the new coordinator, with Sean Payton running the offense, Rex the defense in Denver. Will that make it harder to dominate the division? I would say big yes on that.
I think the thing also, Skip, you're going to probably have to see him in a bad weather game where it's raining, it's snowing, especially late, because we've seen Brady in the Tuck Rule game, it was snowing. We've seen other quarterbacks in inclement weather games, and so that's going to probably be a game that he has to overcome. Now, it was cold. You already know it gets very cold in Kansas City. And so it's not like, I mean, because what was that temperature? Temperature might have been like 10 degrees in the championship game.
Very cold.
Very, very cold. But you're going to probably have to see it, maybe snow, maybe rain, heavy wind.
Okay.
But you're definitely going to need to see him on the road. Because I know everybody's going to say, well, he never played on the road. He didn't play on the road. Well, somebody's going to have to put him in a situation where he loses enough games that he has to take his show on the road.
That is correct. Brady was forced to play 11 games on the road, and he went 7-4 in those 11. And he capped it off with, as you remember, at New Orleans and
Green Bay.
But started Washington. He goes at Washington, at New Orleans, at Green Bay to get to this last Super Bowl.
Because prior to that, Skip, he was 500 quarterback on the road in the playoffs.
All right, but he finished 7-4.
Yes.
Not bad. I can conversely say that it was even more probable than Patrick going 6 for 6, getting to Super Bowls, that Brady could have gone 10-0 in his Super Bowls that he got to. Because seriously, if you look hard at it, you can also argue the counter is, well, Vinatieri had to make the field goals.
Right. If he misses.
All right, if he misses, you lose, especially the first one.
Yes.
Or any of them. The second one,
Carolina, you go into overtime.
You're going to overtime. Okay.
So who knows what happened to that?
But think about this. 10 Super Bowls, so the first Eli Super Bowl, he lost, but he did drive them 80 yards for a touchdown with 2 minutes to go, and they go up 14-10. So if Belichick's defense can hold Eli and stop him from not just getting a field goal, because it's a 4-point game, so you need a touchdown.
Yes.
Can you keep Eli from going 75 yards for a touchdown? No, he could not. It took the helmet catch. It took a late throw to Plaxico in the end zone.
With a zero blitz.
Okay, you got it. But again, did Brady do enough to win it? Sure he did. Could he have won? Well, sure, he was right there. Second Eli Super Bowl. That's the worst one he played, but his QBR was 84, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
And he throws a ball to Wes Welker, and we've talked about it 75,000 times on this show, but Wes Welker doesn't run a lot of up-the-seam routes because he was a possession underneath choice receiver, option routes, and he's running up the seam, and he fools them, and he's running free. And Brady says, well, I don't want to throw you into the safety over there, so I'm going to throw it. You're going to have to twist a little bit to catch this ball. But it's still in your catch radius, even though he's got short arms. But he twists, and it hits him in both hands, and he can't hold on. If he holds on, could Brady have won? Sure, he could have won that one. Okay, then that's it. And then, obviously, the Nick Foles Super Bowl, you can't ask too much more. He dropped or whatever, did fail to catch the ball thrown over his head, and then he did get stripped by Brandon Graham late in the game. But he also threw for a playoff record, 505 yards, and put up 33 points against a top 5 defense, and they lose 41-33 to Nick Foles. My point is, could he have won that? Well, sure he could have won. If you just make one play here or there on defense, you could win that game.
But like you said, I mean, to put it on the foot of the field goal kicker, and there's no absolute when you're kicking the ball. And then he did get really lucky with the Malcolm Butler situation.
Okay, but again, he played great in the fourth quarter, but he needed help. And it's why he was jumping up and down over the sidelines like some little kid on Christmas morning, right? Because I think even he was shocked because it felt like, because Russ had just hit a big pass down to...
He bobbled, he got him...
but it got down to the 5, right?
Yeah, because I ended up, didn't know Marshawn, the first carry, he took it down to the goal line.
All right, so we're talking about 2 all-time great quarterbacks.
Yeah. Mahomes is the first quarterback to lead the league in passing yards and win the Super Bowl in the same season.
Okay.
There have been a lot of great quarterbacks that's led the league in passing, but hasn't won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So win the Super Bowl, lead the league in passing, regular season MVP, and Super Bowl MVP. He's the only one that can say that.
Okay, he's the only one, but I got one last nugget for you.
What?
I look at his 3 passing yardage totals in the 3 Super Bowls he did get to.
Yes.
And they're not even 300. He hasn't eclipsed 300 one time. He's 286, 270, and then this last one, 182. Well, 4 times Brady went over 300 because he went over 500, over 400, and then twice over 300. So that's 4 times plus 300. Yeah. So I need one time to see Patrick throw for 320.
Well, you got to. If he need to, he'll do that. Okay. Because I know I've been on teams. I won 2 Super Bowls, and my quarterback threw for like 140. Trent
Dilfer.
And John, the first one. TD ran for 157 and 3 touchdowns.
But John helicoptered, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, mad to make a play.
Yep.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.